Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.
Goes that too many cooks spoil the broth. But in this case, the Great Debaters Contest managed to flavor it by going through 10 regions and over 300 schools. Today we're going to shed some light on Nyeri Region. And to Judge Booker, straight to you. What did Nyeri do for you?
Nyeri made my blood boil.
Okay.
I'm still super excited about my experience in Nyeri. Many months down the line. Yeah.
Judge Minor, keep it brief. What did it do to you?
You want me to be brief? You know, Nyeri was close to my heart. But Nyeri woke me up. That should be the word, because I had a hard time towards the end, getting to know who should take the day. And I think that was the same on the judging table.
So you want to say that you were asleep in the other regions?
Asleep in the sense that not just sleeping in the physical, but some of the schools down there really had started by disappointing me. Then some people just pop up from nowhere, some teams, and it was an awakening.
Oh, an awakening. Judge Major?
I'll make it simple about Nyeri. It was a shocking display of powerful talents. I mean, Nyeri is just a region where there were talents. And not just talents at the super level. Okay, let me say, not talents at the natural level, it was at the super level. Beautiful debaters, wonderful way of execution of content. I think it was just a region that shook me. Woke her up, boiled your blood, woke you up, and it shook my entire body.
Oh my gosh, and Mariam, what were you done?
I don't know. They're so dramatic. I don't know if I can find anything. But truthfully,
you have to pick up the ante.
Nyeri for me was next level. It was beyond. Wow. Beyond anything I could have expected. Or that's it. Next level. There is where the rest play, and then there's where Nyeri are at.
Okay, now that Nyeri is moving in the stratosphere, let us talk about the breakout stars. I know people are building, the members of the panel are building up to the cream, but let's start on the breakout stars, the diamonds in the rough for Nyeri Region. Judge Booker.
When you have, such good debaters, where do you start? I think for me, John Wangiha from Kegumo High School, I have watched him grow. He's this, small in body frame, but he's a powerhouse. When he stands on that stage, never mind that the height is a challenge, you have no choice but to listen to him. And he's one person that I look forward to seeing when we go back to Nyeri this time, because I'm sure he's much better than what we saw last year.
Very well. Good things come in small packages. Judge Minor?
Well, there were several, but I would want to just center down on one team that, just hosted today, Vijingani, the girls. They were just a power pack in themselves. And I think the only contender that really would match up in terms of being a star with them would be the first debater from Nyeri High School, Brian. I think the four, for me, stood out.
It's interesting. He doesn't remember the girls by name. I do. Okay. Cynthia Ambio.
It's okay.
Cynthia Ambio.
Okay.
Grace Washanga and Sheila McKenna. Those are the ladies.
Okay, I have the
numbers. Judge Major.
Eyebrow.
Which school? Which school student stood out for you and should be the element to watch come season 6?
From a literary perspective, We read writers for their styles.
Oh.
You know, we read Shakespeare because of his puns. We read Chinua Achebe because of his domestication of English language. We read Jane Austen because of her satire and irony in her works. When you come to Nyeri, we listen to some debaters because of what they do with language. And I've just been reminded of the name, I'm sorry, I'd forgotten, Silwa Irimo. She was awesome in terms of polished English language. Let me tell you something about English language. When you have the right word to describe the correct event, then definitely you're going to communicate effectively. You see, and that's what Sil did. You know, she has a way with words, soft-spoken, but she can get to your heart because of her choice of words. And she's the one who stood out for me.
Okay. We've focused on the students.
Austin, you're not going to ask me?
Oh, you have something to say?
No,
I'm sorry. Mariam, please.
No, jokes aside, John has always been like a standout student for me from Kagumo High School, and I think he's that person people tend to underestimate. When he steps on the stage, you might dismiss him, and you're like, oh, this is going maybe entertaining, but no, he's so intelligent and he gets better every year. That's the best part about watching him, and he has such a commanding presence. But the ladies from BG Gandu, you can't. There's no words to describe them. I was actually trying to think of, I don't know, like a comparison to them, and strangely enough, the Powerpuff Girls came to mind. Smart, tough, but sweet at the same time.
Everything nice.
Yeah, no, literally, they are the Powerpuff. They're so intelligent, and then they deliver with varying tones. They'll be nice and sweet sometimes, and then it breaks out and it's so tough. It's everything you want in a debater, and all of them are just, I don't know, iconic. So BG Gandu.
It's interesting. We as the judges remember what was the tagline, from the regional debates. I'm sure Maina you do and Major. What was it again? Yeah. No, convenience is the game. Keep the rhythm if you can. So maybe
could we say it to the camera? Like, let's go like 1, 2, 3, and
okay.
Yeah, let's make it our message.
Convenience is the game.
Keep the rhythm if you can.
BG Gandu, that's a shout out for you from Judge Minor, right?
From all of us.
From all of us, yeah. But Judge Minor was more passionate conviction. You get the marks. Now
there's something.
Okay.
Okay, maybe ask a question.
Oh, I wanted to shift the analysis to you, the judges. How was it judging the experience? Because you're all excited about the students, their presentations, but we rarely ask you your experience. What were you faced? When were you feeling like I should have done this or they should have done this? Why didn't they do this? That's what I want to hear from you. Judge Minor, you're going to start us off.
Yeah, I didn't want to start, but I have to now because you've already pointed me out. This is in reference to Nyeri. Sometimes you want to walk out.
Okay.
Sometimes you feel like a student, yet you're the judge. And sometimes you're taking notes. Some of the tweets, some of the Facebook posts that I use there. Of course, I credit the students.
Okay.
Things that I get.
Plagiarism. It's okay.
No, I don't plagiarize. Then some of the unique artistic way of just speaking. Public speaking is always something that I think that is growing. Even in these non-verbal cues, even some of these words that are coming up, I think there's a generation that is coming up in a very different style. And sometimes I feel like I really need to up my game, research and all those kind of things before I come to even judge and sit there to judge. And sometimes it gets difficult. My colleagues here sometimes, would differ in terms of this was better or the other, and we have to really come across and get really at utmost of professional judging, so that at least we have the winner of the day. And it gets difficult. Sometimes you've seen us, when judging, taking almost even a whole entire time of a whole debate because we need to agree. So in real sense is that we have been learning. We have been learning, and these guys have been teaching me a lot of things.
Judge Major, you're a teacher. Are you being schooled?
Something about Bishop Gatimu Gandu. In Nyeri region, I'll identify Ambio and say Ambio is a stylist. I'll go back to what I said earlier on. A debater, I'll commercialize debate and say a debater is like a salesperson. You're selling the same old commodity, but when you repackage it anew, you get new customers who really get attracted to it. And that's the thing about Ambio. Ambiwa has a way with words. She can take an old phrase, make it beautiful and sell it to you. Remember this as a debater and as audience, you will bore us by telling us the same things that we already know. So the thing is this, how do you take the same old concept and give it to your audience as if it's a new concept? And that's the beauty of it. Think about someone like Grace. I mean, an awesome debater. At one point, I almost shed tears listening to those girls debate. Because you say debate can't be this good and a talent can't be this shocking. Grace has a way of changing her voice. You find a debater who is smart and she's able to detect digression in the motion and bring the motion back to course. Intelligent girls, wonderful debate. I think it was the hallmark of season 5 of GDC.
What are the emotions, or what are you faced with when you're actually judging? What is your experience per se during that moment? Basically, you said you were moved, yeah. But were there instances where you felt that this and that should have been done? Because I'm getting rave reviews. I'm looking for the tiny pieces that might have passed through.
Okay, I think that one was answered when I said that, the emotions will keep on changing. Remember, the judges have expectations, and sometimes we get disappointed when a school comes on stage and you have a lot of expectations, they disappoint you. Or when a debate starts, the first speaker is so good, second speaker is so good, you hold your breath and say, how will the third speaker be? Because he or she is the one who will determine the scores at the end of the day. So the emotions keep on fluctuating. You will not be flat throughout the debate. You will not be high throughout the debate or low. It keeps on fluctuating.
Oh, thank you, Judge Major. Judge Booker?
I think for me, one of the things that I pay attention to a lot in judging is the content and the facts that either support, whatever submissions this debater is presenting, or confirm or disconfirm their arguments. And there are instances where, facts have been misrepresented. And that usually is a moment where I feel like going under the table. Because this show is also educational in nature, and you would not want a situation where the audiences who are watching, some who are relying on this content for education and information get the wrong content, and then you also don't want a situation where audiences who know the correct facts watch the show and say that was wrong, and for us as judges is always being on top of what's current, having the figures right, and I cringe when they quote sources that are not credible or when they misrepresent facts. And a bit of that was evident, in Nyeri. But I think for me, the hallmark of Nyeri was the three ladies. And, I'm saying this, and I know that the panel of judges is mainly male dominated. Okay. But, it goes without saying that women make very good debaters.
Okay, Mariam.
we saw, style, we saw intellect, we saw beauty, we saw mastery of language, we saw coherency of argument. We saw it all packaged in these three ladies. Need I say more?
Mariam, I'm going to ambush you. Be careful with your next answer. Do women make better debaters?
Answering questions like that is always hard because generalities don't always...
Just go straight to it. I know what you're trying to
Generally, yes. There's always...
Wow.
It's the truth.
Okay.
But there are very good male debaters. You can't question that fact. But statistically, I don't know if I can quote any statistics, but looking at numbers, yes, I don't think women make better debaters.
Okay, so as the second opposer to this argument, yeah, statistics from a very credible source.
I mean, you just need
Name
to
it so we
watch
can look it up.
You just need to
the
have
Great
watched
Debaters Contest.
Yes, you should.
Finals for season 4, and
They don't have to make it to the. They don't have to win.
I need to come in.
Yeah.
Please
I
come
need
in,
to
Judge.
come in because
Right now.
that was a very. I don't know
know?
what to use. for
Yeah,
that statement.
they just
But
threw it out
it's
there.
good to say that we're not here on a gender battle, but
Yes.
looking at how a man was created, how a man was created,
preach, brother
and how
Minor,
a lady was
preach.
created.
Okay.
You understand why a lady would always take the day for talking well
Oh,
and debating.
ouch.
We're
Okay.
just going.
And a man, of course, I would say they are better debaters. Yes, of
course.
Someone please edit that out.
But does that equate to better leaders? Anyway, just a
Oh,
question.
yeah.
Thank
You
you.
have that.
No.
Judge Major, please have something to say.
And please
mics
contradict
are
everything
raised in
Mina just
protest.
said.
Yeah, I'll not really get into do men
Drop
do
political correctness.
men make good debaters or women make good
He's
debaters?
playing safe.
Judge
Yeah,
me.
but they are
Stop being on the fence.
So he's playing
No.
safe.
Believe you me, it's about individuals. It's about individuals. Of course, we can see situations when ladies excel when it comes to debating skills. We see situations like Wayaki. I mean, think of Wayaki. Think of someone like Mohammed. Think of someone like Wafula.
You've quoted men,
Yeah,
young
I'm
men.
saying those are men who have excelled, but also there are women, there are ladies, let me not call them women, who have excelled. Think of someone like Onduso, whom we have just mentioned, Marlin, whom we have just mentioned. Think of people like Grace, people like Ambio. So it might,
Theo.
people like Sil. It's a whole.
The list is endless.
Yeah. So let's not say that men can make better debaters or women can make better debaters. Of course, we can say that. I'm not saying that we should not say. We can say. But from my perspective, I'll say I love all the debaters, especially the men or the women who excel in whatever thing they do.
From Mr. Miranda to Mr. Politically Correct.
Okay, very
Let
quick.
it go on record
Okay,
that
okay.
when we traverse the 10 regions,
All right.
the highest scores, came from BG Gandu.
I think Richard.
I love
With you,
that. I love
Austin,
that.
To be honest, I think girls excelled in season 6. I just enjoyed listening to girls. They excelled, beginning with the girls of Bishop Katimu and coming to Nairobi. The Kenya High. I think they had interesting debates. So let's render to Caesar what is Caesar's.
Thank you.
Brother, we'll catch up.
And maybe one day we move beyond. We move
that is
past
like a
boys
sidetrack.
versus girls.
Okay,
I don't know.
True.
I'm waiting for that day. Anyway, in retrospect, do you think Nyeri was the best region in the country, judges? Where do I start? Uka.
I think on average, Nyeri had across the regions, Nyeri produced the highest score, with BG Gandu at 85%. And I think as we traversed the other regions, we were looking at who would oust them from that position. We didn't find any other school. But I guess the challenge with Nyeri was, you had a whole spectrum. And so there are regions like Nairobi where the scores were very close. And so when you look at the average scores, Nairobi has a slightly higher average than Nyeri. But in terms of diversity of grading and diversity of presentations, Nyeri did it for us. Yeah.
Mina, do you feel the same?
It would be hard to say that Nyeri was the best in the regions. Based on if you equate the number of schools that showed up in some regions versus others. So, but I would say, it could be rated as one of the best, amongst some other ones as well. So I wouldn't point out and say that it was the best.
Okay.
But they did well.
Major, was Nyeri the best in retrospect out of all 10?
Now, out of the 10 regions, I'll not really go for Nyeri. I'll say Nyeri had the best school, Bishop Katimu Gandu. But when you come to quality, I think Nairobi produced some of the best debates, some of very good debates. They might not have scored 85, but I think they had, a number of them were within the range of maybe above 70 to something below 80, which just serves to show that they had quality debates. If you look at other regions, I'll give it to Mombasa also. It must, in as much as they might not have been very good, but I think the Aga Khan Academy, they really did well. Kabarak, I think that's a school that we shall always remember. They also did very well. So insofar as regions are concerned, I'll go for Nairobi.
I think that's it for Nyeri region.
Yeah. You've had all it takes to make this show great. I'm Austin Yimbok.
And I am Mariam Bishar. Catch us tomorrow for more highlights from all over the country.
The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.